Hello, my name is Cindy McDonald, and I'm with you today. I have a very special guest, Andrea Coupe, and she's from San Marino, California. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Cindy. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. Today we want to talk about the process of becoming a certified educational planner. So can you tell me, why was becoming a certified educational planner important to you?
I was attracted to the title, Educational Planner. The initial email that I received explained a lot about it, but the idea of being more of a planner and not just a counselor, looking further ahead in a student's lifetime, was very attractive to me. I do want to give my families and students the highest level of professionalism and integrity in my office. And I saw it as a way I could reassure them that they found a very reliable source in an era of many voices out there. And I also liked the idea of being part of the future conversation at some level of the future of college admissions.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's part of the building our profession by becoming a CEP is achieving at that high level. What were some of the concerns that you had about going through that process and becoming, so that you could become a CEP?
My instant reaction was time. Do I have time to do one more thing? It seemed like I was layering something else in my life that wasn't necessary. I had to go find my paperwork, the transcript from my master's at Cal State LA. It had a logistical, oh my gosh, to it. And I wanted to avoid some of those kinds of fears. But at the end of the day, I realized I was being a little bit silly and sounding a little like a teenager.
Oh yeah, we know how that goes, right?
Over and over again.
So how did you share your concerns with the commission, the office, and how did they handle those concerns that you had?
There's really a two-step process when you're interacting with the office. The beginning is trying to pull together an application that, in my case, I had some very random pieces I wanted to represent. My education with my master's as a reading writing specialist, some volunteer work I do for a foundation where we place GAP money and are members of NACAC under that umbrella. That had been for many years. I also found that I didn't know where to place the fly-in experiences that I had had, which I knew was college knowledge, but I also felt I had been educated through those experiences and in the profession itself. So 2 or 3 emails I all it took, and they were very direct. And I have to say I felt embraced. When I received a response, it was warm, friendly, approachable, timely, and not judgmental. Are you good enough? Nothing like that. So I was very grateful. And then we moved into the second step, which is very important for anyone considering the scary part of a test. Stephen Antoff took time out of his busy life to speak to me. In a very gracious, generous, friendly tone, in a phone call, he gave me all the tough questions and told me what he wasn't looking for, which I found the best piece of advice. He wanted my years of experience sitting next to teenagers and parents on the full spectrum of learning, my intuitive side of who I am represented on the test. And so he downplayed the fact that I needed to memorize GPA and test scores for all 30 schools. And, but all in all, I thought the prepping side of it was more colleague to colleague and wanted the best out of me. And all of a sudden, I started to realize this was a really positive piece in my busy life, and I was glad I had done it.
So did you get excited about doing it?
Yes, I did. And that I think is a key here.
Mm-hmm. So what tips could you give for others that are looking at doing this in the future? What tips for studying did you find helpful for you, or that you would pass on?
I have 5 tips, and I think they can work in almost anything you want to try in life. I didn't realize I did one of them until later. And one of my students this year took my advice that I gave him. So tip number 1 is take your own advice. I tell my students, use the college process to ignite your passion of learning. Read more, write more, love what you're doing. And this boy wrote, thank you, Mrs. Coupe. And in it, he said he decided to do that and said, if not now, when? And I feel like that sums up my CEP experience, because what I ended up doing was taking my own advice and looking at this more as a process to list my priorities and how I wanted to learn going forward. Tip number 2 is make it fun. Do not study anything at your office. Go to a cute coffee shop, nice hotel, something with free Wi-Fi and good food, and fill out anything and everything you can. To-do list. Get out. Make it me time. Mm-hmm. And start those documents for your list of colleges you want to put on your application, and put your application itself, keep them on your desktop, so that when you have a random 5 or 10 minutes, you just pull it up and add a little something. And later you're going to have to make those flashcards or review your information. And I found it to be extremely helpful. I also made a point of telling people in my life, tip number 3, who care about me, that I was doing this. Mm-hmm. And upon reflection, that was very important. I got reactions from my own children, the students I sit next to, mm-hmm. My sister in Chicago. And then on the college side, I had to reach out to a couple people for a recommendation. And I think it was that process that actually warmed my heart. I thought, these people are taking their busy time to invest a litto bit in me. And again, I was so glad I had applied. My 4th is to channel your inner teenager and embrace it. I started to freak out literally 2 weeks before the day I had told them I'd take the test. And I realized I didn't know everything about everything on that list. And I needed to make flashcards. So I thought, I called my own daughter in college. I said, hurry up. I need that site online with the quick flashcards. And she wouldn't even respond quick. She made me call her. She said, Mom, you must write it out or it won't be in your head. And I had told her that in 6th grade, and I never knew if she even heard me, right? But that cheerful side of the process is a choice. And again, I think you make it a very seasons of your lifetime kind of moment. And AICEP absolutely comes alongside you.
That is such sage advice, Andrea. I think that is just so perfect. So now you've gone through and retrospectively, and you're looking back now, what do you see as the benefits of having finished this process, and now you have that title, you have that achieved that goal of becoming a CEP?
For me, I have an inner peace and confidence that wasn't quite there before. I find my interactions on the college side are more confident. I have more purpose in how I set my priorities. I'm looking ahead. I'm not resting. I don't think college admission will be the same in 5 years.
Right.
Every day. And I think that a telling point for me is when I'm on fly-ins, or most recently the Marathon. High school counselors ask me how I started my practice. And now my advice is you should become a CEP. And no, they're not paying me to say this. But I think that process of reignition for why you do what you do is the biggest benefit of signing up to apply and embracing your inner teenager.
Oh, and I think you bring up a really good point, is that the CEP is not a designation just for one segment of our profession. It's for high school counselors, both public, private, therapeutic, and people who work with students and families in higher education. And, it's a goal that we can all aspire to. So thank you very much for sharing. This has been very enlightening.
Good. Thank you, Cindy, very much.